A very good afternoon to all of you. So here I would like to welcome our dear students, those who are here with us today for this webinar, and to all the faculties for supporting us for this webinar today. So before I begin, I would like to introduce myself. My name is Shari Pillai and I represent the International Relations Cell here at Parul University. So we all are aware that during this pandemic, we have been conducting a lot of webinars, which have been informative for our students, for those basically who are aspiring and looking forward to study, for their masters abroad. So here, looking up the interest of a lot of students, those who are looking forward for their studies in France, we have called upon our experts for today's webinar who will be giving us a little bit more information which is actually required for the students so that they can have a very clear idea like which direction they are moving ahead to, right? So I would like to introduce Mr. Sujit Nair. He is the manager, Campus France. So talking about Campus France, it is a public institution that is associated with the French Ministry of External Affairs, and who is, responsible, or I would say in charge of promoting higher education facilities and opportunities for students in different parts of the world. So welcome, Sujit, for the webinar.
Thank you, Sherry. Thanks a lot for giving this opportunity to me. So students and all our viewers, thank you so much for attending this webinar, and I hope you are safe and you are doing fine. We are here to let you know more about higher education in France. What are the opportunities? What are the benefits, like scholarships and everything? So I'll be, going through a short presentation, which
Sujit, I would like to also take this opportunity to introduce Dharani. So,
sure.
Yeah. So, dear students, we also have with us Ms. Dharani Joshi. She is the country manager India for Schema Business School. So welcome, Dharani, and thank you for being present with us today. So maybe adding more information to the webinar that we have expected. So you can give us a lot of information on what your business school has to offer during this pandemic for our students, so that many of our students are even looking forward for a management field or a changeover also. So this can be very helpful for them as well. So welcome, Dharani, for the webinar.
Yes, thank you, Sherry, and thank you, Sujit. I look forward to interact with all the students, and like you said, I represent Schema Business School, which is coming into the top 10 leagues of the business schools in France. And further to this, I will interact and I will give you some more insights about opportunities of studying in the business school, career options, and what would be the possibilities on internship and job opportunities post that.
Yeah, thank you so much, Dharani. Over to you, Sujit.
Good morning, everyone.
Thank you, Sherry, and thanks, Darwini, for joining us in this webinar. We'll quickly, move to the presentation. I would like to share it with you guys right now. I hope it's visible to you.
Okay.
Yeah, it might take some time, maybe a couple of seconds. Not yet, though.
Okay.
Yeah, I hope it's. You can see my screen.
No, Sujit, not yet. Can you just try once again?
So maybe you can ask her to join and then she can.
You need to click on that screen and share.
Okay. Because you can join.
Share. Is it visible?
Yes.
You need permission
Yes.
to join.
Great. Yeah, so, to begin with the presentation, the motto that we have is choose France. Why to choose France? We will let you know what are the opportunities available. Firstly, I would like to know when, generally, when we talk about France in general, most of the students, they come up with an answer, okay, I know about Paris and Eiffel Tower. But I would like to say that France is much more than that. when it comes to architecture or the prominent luxury brands and fashion brands, even the gastronomy, the French cuisine, so as well as aeronautics, I would say. So if you have heard of Airbus and you know such companies which are very famous in aeronautical engineering and aeronautics industry as well. So basically, France is much more than just Eiffel Tower. Um, I would like to introduce Campus France. So we are basically a part of the French embassy in India, and we operate under the French Ministry of External Affairs. So our motto is to help the students looking to pursue higher education in France, to help them with the visa process, to help them with the admission process, as well as we provide free counseling. So also we conduct many webinars where on specialized themes such as making your own CV and SOP. So we provide you with tips where you can make your own CV and SOP, as well as we have webinars on student visa process. We have webinars on scholarships and its application process. So please look for it. And talking about Franco-Indian collaborations, so over these years, you might have seen that the partnership between France and India is growing stronger and stronger. So there are many areas where, a lot of private projects as well as government-funded projects have taken place, be it defense, be it solar alliance, or be it education. So there are a number of areas or sectors where French companies have entered Indian market and vice versa. So there are more than 500 French companies in India. To name a few, I would like to, I'm sure you must have heard of few French companies such as Decathlon or Saint Gobain or LVMH, Louis Vuitton, or Ubisoft, Capgemini. So we have many such French companies operating in Indian markets. Also, there's an agreement signed between India and France on academic qualifications, and it's called the degree agreement. So under which, it happens that many of the times, it happens that many of the times the degrees from abroad, they don't cross over well in India. So basically, there is this agreement signed between both the governments, which has come into force since 2018, which validates the degrees from both the countries. For example, our degrees starting from 12th standard to PhD would be considered valid by the French authorities. And the French licence master doctorat, which is like bachelor's, master's, and doctorate programs, would be recognized by Indian authorities like UGC. So you can read more about the agreement on Ministry of Human Resource Development, Government of India's page. Also, it's a country which contributes a lot on research. So nearly 7% of its GDP goes into research and development, educational and scientific both. So it gives a lot of options for those students who want to pursue their research studies. There are plenty of fundings available, and basically research studies in on technological sectors are available as well. I would like to show a brief comparison between the education ladder that we have in India versus in France. In France, we have 3 years of bachelor's. In India, we have 3 to 4 years of bachelor's. In certain cases like architecture, we have 5 years of bachelor's. Master's in both the countries are of 2 years duration. However, for certain business programs, we have shorter programs, which are of 1 year duration or 1.5 year durations. We also have doctorate programs thereafter. So in France, there is a 3-year doctoral program versus in India with MPhil and all, it might go for 5 years. Now, talking about the universities in France. So we have some top ranked Grand Écoles. Grand Écoles is a label given to few top-notch engineering and management institutes in France, which they are known for their high-class curriculum and their connections with the industry. So, we have 15 of them and increasing. So, and we also have public universities. We have an array of business and management schools. I would like to share this thing with you that, this year, under the if you check the Financial Times ranking for MBA programs, we have surprisingly 21 French business schools in it. So which is a huge number. And so you'll find all well-ranked business schools. We have one, school, Schema Business School, which is also very well-ranked business school. So, Dharini, my colleague Dharini would be presenting about it later on. Apart from that, we have an array of engineering schools. So when it comes to mechanical engineering, electrical engineering, aeronautics, IT, so we have dedicated schools, data science. So we have dedicated schools for all these courses. Apart from that, France is also known for art and design and architecture schools. So we have quite a few art and design schools giving dedicated courses on visual arts and performing arts, as well as industrial designing or transportation designing, and many such programs. Now, I would like to talk about generally like the benefits. If you choose to study in France, what benefits would you get? Why should you actually choose France for your higher studies? The first thing is there's no discrimination as such between French and foreign students. So as a foreign student in France, you can avail all the benefits that a local student avails. Right. So be it the housing subsidy, or be it benefit in transportation, like discounts on transportation and many such discounts, right? So also the fees is heavily subsidized. As I earlier said that France invests a lot into education, hence the tuition fees is heavily subsidized. You would not find you would find a vast difference of tuition fees if you compare it with institutes in other countries. So that is one of the benefits that you get. Apart from that, as I mentioned, every international student is entitled for a CAF subsidy, which is like a reimbursement of your rent up to 30%, which is availed by everyone. So you just have to register for it once you reach France. Apart from that, we have a government agency called Cruz. They're everywhere in France. They basically offer subsidized housing to all the students. Though there is a process, you'll have to apply to it well in advance, because the housing is subsidized. So you have to, apply well in advance. And mostly your institutes would help you out with that as well. Campus France managers here would help you out how to go by. Also, while studying in France, you can work part-time, like, for 19.5 hours per week. These are part-time jobs which would require a basic knowledge of French. So we encourage our students to learn basic French before actually, going to or planning their arrival in France. We have a chain of Indo-French Cultural and Language Center for that, which is called Alliance Française. They are everywhere in India. They have 15 centers in India. In Gujarat, we have it in Ahmedabad, Baroda, as well as Surat. So, those who want to study further, you can study French language further. You can definitely contact them. And I think Parole University also offers few French language courses, so you can opt for that as well. Like, it would be like learning French at your doorstep, not having to go anywhere else. Other than that, we have hefty discounts, as I mentioned, on transport. And France is a country which, it's known as a country of museums and libraries, right? So as an international student, you can avail a lot of discounts in these library memberships, as well as entry to these museums and its events. It's just a brief introduction, like a brief comparing about cost of living and tuition fees with other countries. Now, when it comes to applying to a French university, there we can broadly categorize the French institutes into two. There are public universities as well as there are private institutes. For applying to private institutes, you directly apply through their websites, through their admission channels. There are dedicated representatives who could help you out and with the entire process. And you go through, actually, you just have to fill up the form. You have to submit the required documents such as your SOP and your LORs, your academic documents and all. And then you would have to go through an interview with them, post which you can avail the offer letter from that institute. Against which public universities, in order to apply to public universities, you will have to apply through Campus France. We have a portal called Study in France, through which you can, with one single application, you can apply to 7 different courses, either in same or different universities. Yeah. And then it is followed by an interview, and after the interview, these universities where you have applied would respond back to your request. You need at least one single positive response in order to move ahead for visa process. Yeah. Now, I also would like to tell you about the major intakes that we have. So the biggest intake that we have is fall intake, starts in September every year, and then we also have spring intake in January. So some schools would start that in January, some schools would start that in February as well. Right. So these are the two major intakes that we have. And yes, one more thing, to apply for public universities, you will have to apply well in advance. Like, let's say students opting for September 2021 intake. So the public university applications are accepted until end of February. Right. So they apply well in advance, they plan their studies, and their arrival in France, they have enough amount of time to study French as well before they arrive. And apart from that, so these are the steps to apply through Campus France. You create your own profile on the Campus France website, which is our portal called Study in France. You have to upload all necessary documents. You can choose up to 7 programs. You have to pay the processing fees, and then an interview is conducted with the CF office. Now, this is one of the most important aspect, scholarships in France. We would like to tell you that we have a range of scholarships. We offer more than 500 scholarships every year, and the amount of scholarship increases every year. One of the flagship scholarship that we have is Char scholarship, offered to all the students who are applying for master programs, irrespective of the discipline. So the awardee gets, monthly remuneration as well as benefit of, a tuition fees waiver, and their visa fees also gets waived off. Yeah. Apart from this, we have a few, co-finance scholarships for those students who are interested in art education and music education. We also have a trust, and we have basically launched a Franco Indian Education Trust, under which we offer quite a few scholarships for studies on gastronomy and cuisine, scholarships for female candidates who are opting for creative studies such as art, architecture, music, and all. We also have a scholarship called Yugam Legrand Scholarship for those students whose family income is less than 10 lakh rupees annually. So they are eligible to apply for these scholarships. And all of these scholarships are mainly oriented for September intake. So their deadlines happen in, April and May every year. So students generally apply for these scholarships beforehand. They can apply online. We have a scholarship portal through which they can make an account on that portal and apply through that. Yeah. Also, internships in France is plays a vital role. When it comes to education, higher education in France, it's a perfect blend of theoretical studies as well as exposure to the industry. So these internships play a very vital role. A lot of programs that we have are equipped with mandatory internships. And in France, internship doesn't mean that you're just watching somebody else work. It actually means you have to contribute to the company's projects. You have to work like other employees do. Hence, you are paid remuneration for that. So the wages are, I think it is revised to 556 euros now per month. So that's the minimum wage that you can get out of an internship, which is more than 2 months of duration, right? So how it works is these the institutes that you go to with their career development cell and with the alumni network, by being connected to the alumni network, you get to know more about the internships, the companies that are offering internships and all. And you need to go through the admit process of this internship, and you can acquire a consortium. And through this, you can start your internship of, let's say, ranging from 4 months to 6 months, which is ideally a part of your course. And some students, they continue doing internships even after their course is over. It is actually a learning process where you can be ready for the industry. Yeah, and one mantra is the more you know French, the more jobs you can get. Like basic communicative French is required when it comes to jobs and internships, right? Yeah. So when it comes to job opportunities in India, now a lot of students, they want to study in France, but they don't want to work there. They rather want to seek all the experience and come back to India and work here, be close to their families. So I would like to tell that for these students, we have plenty of options here. We have many French companies who hire, alumni from France who have studied in France. And we also conduct job fairs every year with the help of French Embassy in India. We conduct job fairs every year where these companies come and recruit the alumni from France. Companies such as Total, Capgemini, Renault, Dassault System for aviation, and many more. These are few alumni experiences. We have few, proud alumni from Char research internship programs, as well as from the hospitality sector. I would like to tell you that we have an alumni network in place. Now, these alumni network play a very vital role when it comes to education in France. And we encourage our students to connect to this network the moment they start their studies in France. So you get to know more about the industry through these alumni. You get to know more about the industry, more about the work culture, more about the scopes in the industry. So you're well prepared while your education is going on. So for which the French government has created an alumni network called France Alumni Network. It's present in 121 countries. And I think the updated figure is we have more than 325,000 alumni on board as of now. So we encourage our students to be, through this network, they can connect with the like-minded alumni or alumnus, and also be in touch with various companies that are having different employment offers. So these companies also post their employment offers through this network. So basically it works as our version of LinkedIn. So you can benefit out of that as well. Yeah, so as I told you earlier that speaking French is highly encouraged, though it's not a compulsion. If you're opting for an English taught program, it is not an academic requirement, but we encourage you to learn French and keep learning French while your studies is going on. It will definitely help you get a better job and internship in the industry. We also have such courses that Alliance Francaise offers, like Survival Kit course. It's a tiny course of 40 hours, a month-long course, specially designed for those students who don't speak French at all and they are preparing for their arrival in France in like 2 months. So they go through these courses. Just to highlight you about the visas, like we have mainly two kinds of visas for students. One is a short stay student visa. Those are basically for students going for a program of less than 90 days. And those students who are going for a long-term program for which is like more than 90 days, they opt for a long stay student visa. Now, the most important point is that we also offer, after completion of your master's, we also offer post-study visas. So we offer a 2-year stay-back visa, which is called APS, and it is mainly given to you for you to search for jobs and look for jobs in the European Union. Apart from this, we have an alumni visa, which is like a 5-year multiple entry visa, which allows you to work and travel in the Schengen zone. It includes your, spouse and children as well. So the alumni visa is provided to those students who have finished their masters in a French institute. Also, last but not the least, we have a huge event coming up. It's an online event this year. It's called Choose France Tour. It's organized by the French Embassy in India in accordance with Campus France and Institut Français. And the event is going to take place on 26th and 27th of February 2021. What is this event about? It is an event where we welcome more than 40 French institutes, and we create these opportunities that students would like to meet them one-on-one. So during this event, you can actually interact with these representatives of different French institutes on a one-on-one basis. And these are leading French institutes in the fields of management, engineering, art, architecture, design, and all. The registration is free for you. You can register on cft.ifindia.in. I'll be posting the links on the chat box as well. So feel free to also connect to our Facebook and Instagram handles. So we have our Instagram handle, campusfrance.india, where you can find more information about this event. And we also have our Facebook page, Campus France India, which gives a lot of information. We also have weekly webinars and Instagram sessions happening, so you can make the most out of that as well. So yeah, so those who are interested, definitely they can contact IRC, and through IRC you can contact us if you have any queries, if you need more information about specific courses in France. Just feel free to drop by.
Thank you so much, Sujin. Now, Dar, over to you.
Yes, thank you. It was a nice presentation, Sujit. And thank you, Shari. I will now start with my presentation. Is it visible?
Yes, Dharini, it's visible. Yeah.
Oh, okay. All right. So, very good afternoon to all the students, everyone here. I'm the country manager of Schema Business School. And prior Schema, I was working in the Indo-French trade sector for 7 long years, representing the biggest food show of the world of France and the Paris Air Show. I'm also an alumni from one of the business schools of France and a holder of EGID scholarship. So talking about Schema Business School, it's a global business school and the full form of Schema is School of Knowledge, Economy and Management. We are almost an institution of 160 years old. where we merged from two schools in 2009, from ESC Lille and Ceram Nice. We together merged into an institution called Schema Business School. We are globally present education institution. So starting from France, the first campus was started in Lille in the south, in the north France. Followed by that, we opened a campus in Paris and in Sofia in South France. Then we have also opened a campus in USA in Raleigh, Belo Horizonte, Brazil. Then in Shenzhou in China, 2019 we started a campus in South Africa, and last year in January 2020 we started a campus in Montreal, which is focusing on artificial intelligence. Just very briefly talking about the key figures. So we have an alumni from more than 145 countries, which goes to around 48,000. We have approximate enrollment of 9,000 students per intake, which comes from 120 different nationalities, and a blend of 170 professors of 50% of international blend. And as I said, 7 campuses across the world, and more than 140 academic partnerships. Coming to the award and accreditations of the school, we are a multiple accredited organization with EFMD recently acquired last year, AACSB and EMBA and EQUIS. Apart from that, we have a professional accreditation with Conférence des Grandes Écoles and the other accreditations, as you can see. We are into a top 10 and international rankings. So in France, like the basic research is well known for L'Étudiant, Le Figaro, and Le Parisien, in which our MIM program is ranked 5th, 6th, and 6th accordingly. And our BBA program has been recently ranked 4th best by L'Étudiant. Talking about our international rankings, Financial Times has recently ranked us as the 3rd best Masters in Finance program and the 12th best for Masters in Management worldwide. The Economist ranked our MIM program to be the 3rd best, and 11th for the Wall Street Journal for the finance, and 17th best for the MIM. Also, it's not mentioned here, but our international business program has been ranked 2nd by Financial Times. Coming to a very small key dates, I would not go much into detail about it, but this just shows on how Schema merged. So from 2009 to currently, this is our entire timeline of how we expanded globally and how we became one of the top institutions in the world. As like I had presented, we have over more than 140 partner universities from 44 countries and 18 international double diploma agreements for MIM and MSc programs. So that will be when you study MIM or MSc, we give you the whole blend of going abroad. Apart from coming to France, you get to go to travel in any of our partner institutions for your further studies. So talking about the program portfolio, like we start from an undergrad program to PhD level programs, where we start at undergrad, we have SDEM. SDEM is very specifically for actually for French nationals, but and it is taught in French. We have global BBA program for US and the French campus, which is taught in English. It's a 4 years program. Followed by that, we have a Grande École program, which is our MIM, the prestigious MIM program. Then we have master's program. It has a 2-track. So one is a 2 years MSc where freshers are invited, and the other is 1 year MSc program where we take people from work experience. Followed by that, we also have master specialisé. So what is master specialisé and what is the difference between MSc? So master specialisé is partly taught in French and partly taught in English. Then we have executive master specialisé, which is again for the experienced professionals for the certifications. We have global executive MBA for experienced professionals of more than 10 years. And yes, of course, we have a PhD and DPA program, which is a doctorate. Coming to how our corporate relations and career team works. So we have more than 2,500 partner companies, which offers 56,000 internship and job opportunities every year. And at least 120 recruitment events are organized by our career team. As currently today, there is a career fair, virtual career fair going on at Schema Business School, which started from 29th of January. It will go until 5th of February. So this is how our career team works. However, there's one more explanation to it, a slide. So these are some of our top Schema graduate recruiting companies. As you can see, it's IBM, LVMH, L'Oreal, BNP Paribas, Accenture, Accor Hotels, Hermes, Societe Generale, KPMG, Deloitte, to name a few. But we have more than that. Now, how does this whole idea of internships and job opportunities work? So like Sujit had explained in the presentation, that internship is a mandatory part of your curriculum as per the French government education law. So when you are finishing your studies, at the end of each year, you are supposed to take a mandatory internship of around 4 months to 6 months to up to 1 year, depending on your contract, convocation de stage with the company. All right, it's a paid stipend of minimum to begin with 500 euros per month as per the French law, which is around 40,000 Indian rupees. And depending on your contract by company to company, for example, if company like KPMG is hiring you for an internship, then it might also go to 80,000 to 1 lakh a month. And that's your stipend to begin with. And then internships are not so confined to do it in France. However, we encourage our students to do it in France, but you can do it in any part of the world. But always ensure that whenever you're doing an internship in a French institution, you have to sign your course de stage. This is how our corporate relations team works. As you can see in the presentation, we have corporate events, which are a part of business roundtables, business challenges, physical and virtual business forums, chat forums, and recruitment days. Below is a picture of one of the recruitment days which happened in 2019. And currently also, like I just announced, we have this virtual meetups going on for the students. So that's one aspect. Then our career and talent team also takes workshop on how to organize and make your resumes one page. If you want to make it in French, how to write cover letters, what to speak to a particular company, hiring manager, during the recruitment day or the career fair. And what exactly is the concept of internship? So these are the several workshops which keep happening throughout the year, and it's for free. They are a part of your study, so you don't need to pay separately for it. Just take a benefit of it and be on alert always, because there's no one who's going to come and tell you. You will be informed over your Schema email IDs. So always be very alert about finding these kind of opportunities and having an interaction with the companies. The other sources that we have is we have a lot of online websites where companies post about internship and job opportunities. Job Teaser is one of them. Visio Talent is one of them. So we train our students on how to use these platforms. So there's a workshop on that as well, and it's a good platform because Job Teaser has maximum opportunities so far in France. Coming to our prestigious Grande École program, Masters in Management. So Masters in Management, why to choose MIM for Schema? So for one obvious reason that the Masters in Management is a Grande École program open to non-French bachelor students. And apart from France, you can study in any of our abroad campuses as well. So you get an international blend of and a cross-culture skills. Schema's MIM is diploma is recognized by French state and endorsed as Masters. And it's 12th ranked in the Financial Times, as I said, and most students get a double diploma, which is MIM plus an MSc, because the specializations that you choose for MIM are also the specializations we offer at the MSc. So at the end of your degree, you get a double diploma, which is MIM and MSc. Now, coming to how the MIM structure works in Schema. So as you can see, we have it's a 2 years program where the first year you spend at the Schema campus. And if you want to continue studying on the regular track, then you go for the second year. For the second year, you get to choose either of our abroad campuses, or you can go to any of our partner universities, which has a collaboration for MIM program. All right. If you don't want to go in the regular track, then after your first year of master's, you opt for a gap year. Now, in a gap year, you work in a particular company, but only in France. And after that, you complete and you go to and you just directly jump into the final semester and you get your degree. And obviously, the gap year is paid. You get a stipend for it. So many students are now opting for MIM program only because there's an option of gap year. Now coming to the rates and the salaries of the MIM candidates. Sorry. So 93% of our graduates are recruited within 4 months of graduation, and to begin with an average salary of 47,000 euros annually, and out of which certain percentage of students think of working internationally as well. So that's it. And international rankings, I have already spoken about it, but you can have a detailed look at it. These are the updated ranking of MIM program. Coming to the admission procedures. So what is the admission criteria? Any graduate or if you have a work experience, it's an add-on. So even a fresher can apply for an MIM program, but you need to have a good percentage of 60-65% and above. So that's it. And apart from that, you have to have a Gmat or a GRE or a CAT score, and TOEFL and IELTS as well as it's a mandatory admission criteria. The rest of the documents remain the same, where you submit your university grades, transcripts, diploma, certificate of attendance, passing certificate, degree certificate, passport copy, etc. All the rest remains the same. The tuition fee is 30,000 euros for the 2 years, and we award a scholarship up to 2,800 euros for the students who get selected for a MIM program. And if you opt for a gap year, you pay 1,000 euros extra as an additional fee for the administrative purpose. Now, what's the process of applying for the MIM program? One is through the direct website of Schema website, which is myschemaapply.schema.edu, or through Join a School in France, JESIF. So these are the two ways of applying for the MIM program. It's one way is the direct, and JESIF is an indirect way of getting into the program, where you enter into putting your application for 5 top schools of France, including Schema, and then there is an interview by the jury. Followed by that, you get to know about the decision. Coming to the MSc programs, this is Masters of Science. So it's a 2 years or a 1 year program, depending on how you will be, how your profile looks like. So 2 years of masters are offered to students who are extremely freshers, whereas 1 year of masters are offered to students who have around 2 years of or more than 2 years of work experience post their graduation. So the MSc programs are taught fully in English, and we offer 2-hour classes of French per week to learn, so that students can learn. Apart from that, we always encourage our students to take up the classes at Allianz, as Sujit had mentioned in the presentation, so that they get to know the understanding of language or a hang of it on how to, survive at least for a month or two, and then go ahead once you, get used to with the French language, people, and etc. So it's a full-time program where, you get to study for 1 year, followed by that it's an internship. And if it's a 2 years, it's there are 2 internships at the end of each year, and compulsory working internship, and there's a dissertation which you need to submit. So there has to be a 30-page report that you make on your internship, submit it to your course director, and then you get your 10 credits validated for your masters. Which are the programs that we offer? In the management track, we offer project and program and business development, digital business data analysis and management, international human resource and performance management, supply chain and purchasing, strategic event and tourism. Marketing, we offer international marketing and business development, luxury and fashion, global luxury and management, luxury hospitality and innovation, which is dual degree with École Ferrière, and it's another digital marketing at Sophia. Business strategy, we are offering interesting courses like international business, entrepreneurship and innovation, international strategy and influence, artificial intelligence for business transformation, sustainable design, finance, corporate finance, markets and investments, sustainable finance and fintech is a course we have recently launched. Apart from that, we have triple masters for Loyola, Schema, and LMU, which are based in US, France, and Germany. And also, we have started an academic diploma program in entrepreneurship, technology, and startup management, which is a double diploma in collaboration with Berkeley University. What are the salaries that you get for after doing your MSc? So these are very recent updates of students getting 100% placements with average salaries of 53,000 to 55,000, depending annual salaries, depending on the course and the specializations that you do. So these are our current records of placements and internships. We have an interesting international ranking. Like I had said, the Economist has ranked our MSc International Business Program as 3rd. Forbes says that we are among the 10 best entrepreneur programs for MSc Entrepreneurship. And with US, we are on 12th and first amongst the French school represented in 2021, which is very recently for MSc in Supply Chain and Purchasing. So these are some of the rankings details. The admission process more or less remains the same. With English language, we have an exemption for the Indian students, so you don't need to appear for TOEFL or IELTS for the MSc programs. 1 year tuition fee 17,000 euros, and 2 years is 30,000 euros. We have an application fee of 100 euros. And the application fee, the tuition fee sometimes differ basis on the specializations also. For example, financial markets and investment is 38,000 euros for 2 years MSc now. And more or less, it's all the same. The admission criteria, where if you hold 3 years of university degree or 4 years, and you send us your CV, cover letter, copy of your passport, ID proofs, etc., and upload all of this on our online portal. And there is an interview followed by that, after which you get the confirmation of your admission at Schema. At the beginning of in the middle of the presentation, Sujit had told that it's mandatory to, how Alumni Network plays an important role in internship and job opportunities. So like that way, we have an entire link of Alumni Network called alumni.schema.edu, to which all our students get an access, and you can talk to our alumni currently who are in whichever country, and if you are interested for any job opportunities, or if you want to get placed into a particular company, then you can always write to them and kind of get an placement in a particular organization. So these are some of our strong alumni network who are globally present. And so thank you very much. And you can definitely follow us on our social media pages, or contact me for further assistance if you need for your admission for Schema in India.
Thank you so much, Dharani, and all that.
Yeah, welcome.
Yeah, that was a very extensive information regarding Schema Business School and the opportunities that they have. So here, looking into whatever you have explained, even whatever Sujit has explained. So here, I have few questions that generally student puts up when they are walking into us, who want to know about France. So first, one thing I would like to know more, Sujit, is like, generally student when they come in, they have more notion of if they are planning for abroad, they take up definitely France is a lesser option that they want to go for. So why so, and how can they be now, start thinking, because you have already mentioned there are a lot of scholarships, there are a lot of other benefits that the French government is giving to the students. So anything more that you would like to right now, and how is like the intake of the students are coming, in the past few years when it comes to India, from India, how many students, if you can see the graph. So is there any increase in the number of students, those who applied in past few years for France? How do you see that?
अब देखो technically what is happening to
Sharif, it's a very interesting question and a peculiar question, I would say. But I would like to respond it in a way that France, yes, of course, wasn't seen as a mainstream country a few years before few years because it is not an Anglophone country. At its base, because all the students would prefer going to USA, UK, Australia, and all. But I would say over the last few years, a lot of Anglophone countries have, non-Anglophone countries have come up, and France has emerged a lot to Indian students. Of course, it is new to Indian students, but it is not new to the world, I would say. France stands fourth in terms of welcoming the number of international students who come to France every year. If you see the statistics, the UN statistics, it stands fourth, and it's steadily increasing. Yeah. Surprisingly, it is not Canada, New Zealand, or Australia, but we just follow like after. Sorry, Australia is there. Australia is third, but very close to Australia is France, right? So it's US, UK, and Australia, and then it's France. We don't realize at a global, the global picture that I would like to show is that a lot of French-speaking countries are there. When it comes to language and culture, the French language and culture is widespread across the world. It is not that you are going to learn this language or culture or study in France and you'll be limited to France only. It is your gateway to go global. As Dharini mentioned, that Schema is giving options for them to study abroad, study in other campuses across the world that they have. Also, they can do internships anywhere. Another point is we offer Schengen visas to all the students who are coming to France. What is Schengen visa? It is a cluster of 26 countries now, which allows you to mobilize in a single visa. So, you're not limited to France. Even while studying, you can travel to Germany, Italy, Spain, and other EU countries. And look for work, look for internships, look for opportunities. So there are more doors to get more work, get more opportunities. So that is one more point. And the another point that I would like to highlight is over this period of time, we have now managed to offer more than 1,600 programs fully taught in English. So we offer more than 1,600 programs fully taught in English across various institutes, across various disciplines. So students can opt for these programs now. And let me tell you, lately what we have observed is there are more students opting for such non-Anglophone countries, like especially France, because of the equality in the tuition fee structure. I would say the tuition fee structure is very balanced when it comes to French universities and institutes, and they avail a lot of other benefits just like the local students would avail in France.
Yes, Sujit. So yes, definitely here. Even I would say, like right now, when it comes to even for our campus, right now we have opened up our avenues for earlier we were only concentrating on mobility, but right now we have opened up avenues for study abroad as well. So any of the student, those who are approaching us, if they are aiming for moving abroad, we are definitely helping them and guiding them in that direction as well. So
I just wanted to point out, Shari, it's just an example. I remember when we were using Nokia mobiles a few years ago, all we had in mind is, oh, Nokia is the best and all. Then Samsung entered the market and we saw that how huge is Samsung worldwide. We did not have an idea before that, right? So it's something like that. You need to see all the options and then choose the best for you.
Yeah, definitely, Sid. And that is this question why I asked, because generally student come in with a notion of only Canada or US or UK maybe recently, but now even a few students, those who are inclined towards may that be automobile or designing, or may that be architecture. So now those students have also started approaching, who are asking for France, and not only that, even computer science engineering students as well. So slowly there is an increase in the number of students those who are showing interest for France. So I just wanted to, you for being a representative of French embassy, like you can clearly tell us in figures, like this is how the graph is moving. So definitely a lot of opportunities hold for the students. And when it comes to scholarship, I would say France is one of the countries that is offering so much scholarship for the students. So not only before going, even after reaching their like CAF benefit, like hardly I would know that any other country is offering that. So this is one of the benefits that the students can take advantage of, so once they are there, right?
Right.
Yeah. So another question here is like we already mentioned, like after completing the masters, they will be getting a 2 years of work permit visa. That is how it was. Now, plus 5 years of Schengen visa is mentioned. So that is post these 2 years or including these 2 years. How is it?
So it is actually a choice. Now, this 5 years of alumni visa that we provide is not a constant. It doesn't allow you to constantly stay in the Schengen zone. It is more like a multi-entry visa. It is given to those students. Now, there are a lot of students after completing the course, they have a startup idea in mind. They would want to, start with some businesses between having French clients or having a French partner and things like that. So this visa actually facilitates those objectives of the student, where the student can travel and stay there for 3 months and come back, and then constantly keep on doing that without applying for visa every time. And it includes their spouse and children as well. So I think this visa, this 5-year multiple entry visa, is given with that objective, where the students can travel as well as have realized their business ideas with France.
Okay, so if I understand, that will extend, that will go beyond these 2 years of the work permit visa that they're getting.
Yeah. So the work permit visa is mainly for given with an objective that students can find a job, like as Dharini pointed out, like students go with internship options first. They some do internships for 1 year or more, and then they eventually would like to look for jobs and find a job there, contract-based jobs, where we have CDD and CDI modules for that. So students, we give that much amount of time for students to actually find a job and find a long-term job, I would say, and then they can convert their student visa into work visa.
Okay. Another question, like what is the level of French language that is necessary when they're planning for France?
There are two answers to this, Sherry. I think Dharini would agree with me. First answer is that academically, it's not a requirement if the student is going for an English taught programs. Student doesn't have to show any kind of French language certificates to us. Of course, if they show it, it's considered as an added advantage. It will be an add-on. Also, on the other hand, we encourage our students a lot to learn basic French at least where they can greet themselves, they can, start conversations, make more contacts, because when they are planning to make their careers there, a lot depends on the number and the kind of contacts that they would build up over the years. So language and knowing the culture plays a very vital role there. It doesn't stop there. It's actually a journey. Like it's not just about learning basic French, but students generally continue learning French while their studies are going on. And by the time they reach at a stage where they are applying for internships or jobs, they have a good level of French, and then they can, it adds value to their CV, because French is not just spoken in France; it's a global language. I think countries like Canada, Belgium, Luxembourg, Switzerland, 29 countries in Africa, they all speak French. It's making it the third most used business language in the world. So definitely adding that with it on CV would bring in a lot of value for the employers.
Right. So will that play a role in finding when they're finding out the part-time jobs and everything? So like, is it necessary? Like only if they didn't have a knowledge of French language, they'll be able to get part-time jobs or something like that.
So, Shari, there are students who do not speak French well, but they are working with multinational companies in France, with they have clients from other parts of the world who speak English, so they are doing without speaking in French. But if we see a larger picture, they are living there. They are living in France, where there is a French-speaking environment around, and if we see it as a general notion, then yes, we would encourage them to learn French, basic French, and then continue learning French. If not, basically to increase the probability of options that they would have later on.
Dharani, over to you. Owing to this pandemic and the current situation, is there any relaxations in the admission policies or admission requirements that have been rolled out?
Like representing the institution like Schema, we didn't get into total relaxation in terms of admission criteria. Like for MIM, for example, I'm saying for MIM, we have an mandatory criteria for Gmat test. So we made the Gmat test online, but we kept it mandatory. We didn't waive it off. Yes, for the payment of the initial deposit, last year what we did is because the banks were shut and it was very difficult for students to pay the initial deposit in upfront. So we introduced this idea of paying a pre-deposit of €1,000. You block your seat and then you pay the remaining 4,000 whenever it's convenient for you, but paid before like July, so that it's convenient for us to give you the necessary documents for your visa. So we did come with certain flexibilities, and at least in terms of payment, we had a late arrival permission from our campus. Usually that doesn't happen with the regular, if it was not a pandemic. So we introduced this idea of late arrival, where the last student can come to the campus was 30th of October, 30th of November, sorry. And we had provided a late arrival letter which they can attach it with their visa. And, that will just help the institution to understand, the embassy to understand that why a particular student is applying so late. We had a virtual orientation. So we came up with these kind of flexibilities, giving them a little bit of access to the online mode. We took webinars here for our students, to make them understand about the accommodation concepts. Campus France also helped us a lot in certain ways, very supportive. All the Campus France Bureau were very, very supportive. So that's how it all worked as a team, combining with the management of Schema or Campus France in India, and it was all like a teamwork.
And like, how is right now the classes going on? Is it completely online, offline, or hybrid mode? How is it like?
It is a lockdown in France currently, but it depends on the number of students that you need for a particular lecture, because it's not like the management schools in India where you have 40-50 students in a classroom at one time. So when it comes to certain electives, you have around 8 to 10 or 20 students in the class. So it is totally depending on the professor. If there is a need of a classroom study, the students are coming in the classroom with certain protocols to follow. And if not, it's going online so far, keeping, everything, respect to all the current lockdown situation. But the campus gets closed by 6 o'clock in the evening, and it reopens at 6 o'clock in the morning. So we are following the curfew hours very strictly.
So one last question here is with regards to like after completing like if they have found a job in their area and everything. Now, how is the PR policies? Like, how is France how is the PR policy working in France?
Okay, so the PR policy of France is very different from other countries, like where you have points to calculate, and you can uh, get it very quickly and understanding. But for example, one student is going and studying in an institution in France, be it a public university or a business school or whatever. They apply for their APS, that is the Autorisation Provisoire de Séjour, and after the 2 years, once they have a contract extended with the company, they can go to the local prefecture and keep extending their visa. And as per my knowledge, Sujit, please correct me if I'm wrong. Once they complete living for 4 years approximate in France, where they have a proof of showing that they have paid the taxes regularly, the fifth year they start applying for their citizenship directly. So that's how. So you get a French passport at the end of the fifth year. But it's a process where you have to go to the prefecture office, and there are a lot of paperwork required, and it is a lengthy process of 1 year. So by the end of fifth year or the beginning of fifth year, probably you get your citizenship of with a French passport.
Yeah, I think Dharini, more or less, I would be saying the same thing. It is also, what they look for is the students after studying in France, they are the kind of career they have developed, and over the years, and the industry that they have chosen, the taxes that they pay to the government, all these aspects matter. And I think they also have an option of going for a blue card, which is like a European Union blue card of 10 years of validity, including spouse and children. Or else they can apply for a citizenship, as Dharini mentioned. But yes, they would have to submit their salary slips of 4 years wherever they have worked, and the tax papers, the taxes that they have paid, based on which they can definitely apply at the prefecture for either for citizenship or for blue card.
Okay, so if I like to summarize, it is like if in case if I have finished my studies, I have a 2 years of APS. So during that, I have a flexibility that I can have extension of that. So I can keep on extending that. That is how I understand.
Let me just tell you, Shari, that we have, when it comes to work or employment in France, long-term or full-time employment, we have a CDD and CDI system, where the student begins with such long-term jobs with the CDD, which is a contract of determined duration, which is generally of 1 year. And the employers extend the CDD for 1 more year. So it's like 2 years of CDD. And from the third year, they have an option to convert that CDD into a CDI, which is more like a contract of indefinite, and which actually also opens doors of PR or citizenship for the student.
Okay. Yeah, I guess that was it. That were the general questions, and I have also taken up questions if they were mentioned in the chat box.
So when we do online shopping,
So thank you so much, Sujit and Dani, for giving us so much information regarding France. So here, before I close this webinar, for all our students, those who are listening this webinar, please, if you are aiming for moving abroad to any country, please do come and visit us at IRC. We have started an initiative, so right from your IELTS classes. So if you're planning and if you really have thought, you just need to come and visit us. If your country is not decided, there is not a problem. We can have a session and we can help you, select a proper country or a course which is more helpful for you when it comes to future perspective. So do come visit IRC. So right from your IELTS classes to your language classes, may that be French or German, we do conduct all those classes as well over here. So if you're planning any country abroad, so if it's like a basic knowledge of any local language would be necessary if you're applying for France or Germany. That will help you to get initial jobs or help you to get settled down. So that will be easy for you as well. So knowledge of that local language or that language of that particular country will be ease for you for your journey of moving, studying there and so on and working as well. So any point of time, please do come and visit us at IRC. We will be helping you with that. We will be also helping you finding out courses and options for you, which you can, later on pursue for your higher education. So thank you so much, Dharani and Sujit, for joining us for this webinar. So if we have students' queries or anything like that, we will be definitely, get in touch with you for your support and help with that regards.
Thank you. It was nice interacting, and it was a wonderful presentation and wonderful to meet you all.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Sujit.
कुछ चीजें प्रैक्टिस के लिए है तो उसमें लेस गाइडेंस की जरूरत है. It is expected कि आप रेगुलर प्रैक्टिस करो.
Thank you, Char. Thank you for having us. Thank you for this.
आपको मिल रहा है listening, speaking, reading, writing पूरा
Okay, hope to see you soon, everybody. Bye.
We hope that our viewers
Yeah, I think there is some network.
all the necessary information.
Yes, we will definitely. Yes, the webinar has been a lot informative, Sujit. So a lot of questions we have taken up, and a lot of questions have been already answered during your presentations.
Thank you so much.
If anything is there, we will definitely get back to you. Thank you.